first time I walked into this little place would have been a decade and a half ago. It was a Sunday morning and there wouldn't have been any more than 25, maybe 30 people at the service. I mean, my life was a mess back then, but being who I was, I came in, I looked around, I thought, this is a really unimpressive place. And none of the people impressed me either. It wasn't until a lot later that I discovered what an amazing bunch of people they were. And right here's where I was standing when I first laid eyes on that beautiful woman who's now my wife. Boy, did that change my life. And this is where I picked up a brochure to the local Bible college. And way back then, I had absolutely no idea how that was going to change my life. Now here we are at that Bible college. The first time I walked into this place, I felt like such an incredible fraud. Because you see, I'd only been a Christian for a few months, and here I was applying to go to the Bible college. But they accepted me. Now, a year or so into the course, I walked into here and I headed over to my pigeonhole, and what I discovered in there was a letter that would change my life, a letter from the principal to ministry students. It was a letter inviting us to study a half-unit elective on mass media. This is where I sat that evening, and this letter burned a hole in my desk. I have to tell you, I didn't hear much of what the lecturer talked about that night. I took up the offer of the media training, and through that, I ended up in this ministry, Christianity Works, that I'm involved in right now. These days, every time I get behind that mic in the studio, I'm speaking with millions of radio listeners in over 120 countries around the world, telling them about Jesus Christ. Millions. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? But have a look around. There's nothing impressive about this place. There's nothing impressive about the radio studio or that church back there. See, sometimes we think that for God to do something amazing, there's got to kind of be like a crowd cheering and a band playing. But it just wasn't like that. See, what seems to happen is that time and time again, God takes incredibly ordinary people, He puts them in incredibly unimpressive places, and then He does incredibly amazing things with them. You know, when I look back on my life and my circumstances and the mess things were in, I think, wow, if He can do something useful with me, then just imagine what He can do with your life.